Yeah, I mean, it's a bit provocative, I have to admit, describing agents as pure shells. Obviously, what I mean is that they are orchestrators of underlying tools, in a sense that if the underlying tools, and that can be everything from a machine learning model to data sets, to vector stores, to API services, to LLMs, if they don't work properly, the whole agent doesn't work properly. So in a sense, the agent is just the shell or the orchestrator holding all of these pieces or tools together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Data Innovation Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Here in this podcast, you find expert voices and the newest trends in data and AI. Today, we will be talking about a topic which is very hot at the moment, and it is about AI agents. And we will be discovering or answering the questions, are they actually shells? Additionally, we will be talking about the risk and the components which are required for creating agents. And for this, today is with us Maximilian Harms. Welcome, Maximilian.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. Let us start. Let us dive in. Maximilian, tell us, your audience and our audience, who are you?
Thanks again for inviting me. I'm Max. I'm working at a company called Dataiku. It's a software company. I'll get into Dataiku in a minute. I've been working for Dataiku for 4 or 5 years now. Before that, I was in strategy consulting, and before that, I was working in the public sector. My educational background is in statistics and economics. And at Dataiku, I'm leading the strategy team across EMEA. So I'm part of Dataiku's EMEA leadership team. Our team's or my team's task is twofold, actually. So one is really driving, enabling, designing the go-to-market strategy. So what clients do we go after? How do we go after those clients? And how do we funnel the feedback back to product? And secondly, so the second part of what we do is probably argue 70% of our work is really engaging with our most strategic clients across industry, across domains, really trying to help them answer questions beyond our technology, meaning what's the value you can derive from AI, Gen AI, where to focus on, what to deprioritize, but also what are the processes, what are the roles that are required to actually scale analytics, AI, Gen AI. So in that context, we typically talk to head of ITs, head of data science, CDOs, CTOs, to help them understand or exchange best practices on how to scale analytics and AI.
Interesting. You see what a guest we brought to you today. Great. And Max will be talking in our Data and AI meetup today in Cologne as well, today evening. Yes, we are very happy having you here. And let us go one step back. Dataiku, maybe for those who doesn't know, what is Dataiku? Explain us.
First of all, Dataiku is difficult to pronounce. So there are various ways in which our own employees or stakeholders, customers pronounce Dataiku. I think the original idea of our CEO and founder was Dataiku, meaning the combination of data and haiku. Haiku being the Japanese poem, so data poem, basically. We are a software company founded in 2013 back in Paris. All of our R&D and our CTO, who's also co-founder, and CEO, also co-founder, still located in Paris. We're now co-headquartered in New York as well. We're about 1,400 people globally. And we offer one single product, which is a universal AI platform for our for our customers. And the customers span across industries. Obviously, there are some focus industries, namely FSI, namely life science, manufacturing, but also retail. But we serve clients in each and every industry across the globe with our universal AI platform.
Great. For the audience as well, it is very nice to have Max here, because Dataiku, or Dataiku, as he already mentioned, there are different ways of pronouncing it, is one tool or one software which I have been learning in the last time. And additionally to my background in statistics, you can imagine that somehow I am taking a special eye about analyzing how the tool is working. And I find it very fascinating which kind of opportunities you have with Dataiku for no code, low code, or full code. You have the whole possibilities. And yes, I could say that this is even appropriated for all areas. That means data teams, departments, business departments, but maybe you can give us one additional information. Which are the customers or you have most at Dataiku?
Yeah, so as said, 4 core industries, and our users at our customers span across different personas. So maybe it's worthwhile taking a step back and looking at sort of the potential that's in analytics, AI, Gen AI, right? There are many estimates, lots of consulting companies, I'm sure including yours, that estimate that the value of AI, Gen AI is up to 20-30% of a company's annual revenue, which is huge. Question is, how do you tap into that value, even if it's only half of that, or even if it's double of that? And when we talk to our customers and clients, we basically come across similar challenges all the time. First one is around the people. How do you make sure that you leverage all your people in order to leverage AI, Gen AI to enhance processes, redefine products, or redefine the way you're working? Not only data experts, but really involving subject matter experts. Second one is on technology. How do you make sure that you leverage the up-to-date technology? How do you stay agnostic? I mean, we've all seen the rise of LLMs and different LLM providers, AI agent providers, etc. How do you cut through the noise, be up to date, and leverage the most relevant technology for your enterprise? And then thirdly, there's governance, right? How do you make sure that when you empower everyone, let's assume you can do that, you make sure that it doesn't become the Wild West, but you empower everyone to leverage analytics, AI, Gen AI at scale with the right governance frameworks. So I think these are some of the key challenges that we see at our customers or prospects. And we believe that with Dataiku, you can address these challenges. Though I have to say that technology alone won't solve the issue, but it can certainly help in addressing these challenges.
Great. We have treated this topic as well with a colleague of you, with Leah. Mm-hmm. In our last episode, we were talking about self-service analytics, the challenges, and if it is a conflict about democratization of data and so on. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you want to take a look on, you will find this episode as well. But well that you complemented this, because this is an additional information about Dataiku, about what are your customers, or which are the challenges that you are having with this tool, empowering people to do self-service analytics, which is for me a challenging topic. As you said, data governance and so on, these are the biggest challenges. But today, keeping on our conversation, I would be interested to know from your point of view, which are the three most, let's say, the most popular or your favorite functions about Dataiku?
Yeah. Maybe to add to what you just said, data is certainly, it all starts with data and access to data and having the governed access to data in order to do self-service analytics, self-service AI, self-service Gen AI, and democratize AI. So that's certainly still a challenge we see when it comes to our clients, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that when we're going to start discussing agents. But back to your questions, what are the key features or highlights of Dataiku? First and foremost, I have to say that Dataiku is an AI and analytics platform that sits on top of an organization's infrastructure. And the infrastructure can be an on-premise infrastructure. It can also be a cloud infrastructure. It can be Snowflake or Databricks infrastructure, who, by the way, including the cloud providers, are partners of ours, or it can be a hybrid structure. So Dataiku sits on top and orchestrates the underlying infrastructure. What I like most about Dataiku is it brings different people, different types of personas into one unifying interface, in one unifying workbench. So data scientists, data engineers, IT, AI governance managers, as well as the business, so subject matter experts, analysts, financial analysts, marketing analysts, process engineers, actuaries. They all work in one environment to collaborate and implement the most relevant use cases or the most relevant applications. And that can be fully autonomous when subject matter experts collaborate. Dataiku has many different visual features, but it can as well be in a collaborative fashion, meaning, for instance, I have a big life science, EMEA life science client in mind where the process engineers, the quality engineers, as well as the data scientists collaboratively build a yield improvement, a production yield improvement use case to improve the yield in a certain factory by optimizing input factors. And 80% of the work was actually done by the process engineers and quality engineers themselves, and 20% was done by the data scientists. But in involving those subject matter experts, you made sure that what you're actually doing is relevant to the business and is driving business outcome. So that's maybe one. So one unified workbench to bring together those personas. Secondly, we are very proud of our AI agent capabilities. So you can build agents in no-code fashion, or in visual fashion, or in full code fashion if you want. And obviously, we're going to talk about that, but agents need underlying tools. So building agents is just an extension of our platform. You can do basic data analytics, you can do basic visualization, machine learning, etc. And you can also extend that to agents and then have that agent leverage all these underlying tools that you have anyway built in Dataiku. So you can build a very powerful agent or an agent of agents within Dataiku without any line of code. So that's pretty amazing. And the third one, which I think is very, very relevant, specifically if you scale your analytics, AI, agent use cases, is governance. So in Dataiku, you have an overview, basically a sort of central watchtower, where you can see who has access to what project, to what use case. Obviously, as an administrator, you can change that very granularly. You can grant access to different underlying tools, data sets, machine learning models. You can allow only a certain group to deploy models. You can only allow a certain group or certain personas to have access to LLMs that you have connected. So a very granular way of governing access and governing usage in Dataiku. So we do have clients where the subject matter experts together with the data science team build solutions that can be analytics solutions, that can be machine learning solutions, that can be agents. And then you have another team of data engineers or IT that are allowed to deploy and monitor. Obviously, you can change that depending on the team size, depending on the team capability. So that very granular governance within Dataiku, I think, makes it really, really attractive to also scale with control.
Great. Scale with control. I was so deep involved in your conversation and listening to you, and I enjoy learning as well from our guests. This is amazing what all this whole information that, I am enjoying as well, this conversation with you. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you for having me and the great questions.
Great. Yes. Governance, the collaboration, two topics which are very, very important and necessary for building, for going ethically responsible with the data. It is not only about enabling people, it is about having the trust that these people is using the right methodology, the right people accessing to the right data, and so on. These two aspects are very important in the data journey. And the third thing you mentioned was the AI agents, which everyone somehow is the biggest hype at the moment. And there are some jokes in the internet where I have seen, do you want to sell me this pen? This old representation with DiCaprio, and then they say, yes, this is an agent. And yes, somehow is the hype topic.
Yeah.
And you already described that for creating agents, there are tools which are necessary. As we were talking about or preparing our podcast and the presentation today in the evening, you brought an analogy which I think is very, very interesting. I haven't heard that before. And yes, maybe we can talk a little bit about this topic because, as I said, everyone is wanting to have an agent. And yeah, somehow there are so many interesting topics as well, which can bring a lot of knowledge about a lot of value. Maybe, Maximilian, I would be very loved to hear what exactly what is meant with this analogy about the agents are equal to shells. Tell us a little bit about this analogy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit provocative, I have to admit. Describing agents as pure shells. Obviously, what I mean is that they are orchestrators of underlying tools, in a sense that if the underlying tools, and that can be everything from a machine learning model to data sets, to vector stores, to API services, to LLMs, if they don't work properly, the whole agent doesn't work properly. So in a sense, the agent is just the shell or the orchestrator holding all of these pieces or tools together. So the essential work is happening underneath the shell, basically. So when we at Dataiku talk about agents, we have a pretty simple, I would say, pretty universal definition of AI agents. Threefold. One is it's an LLM-powered system. B, an agent typically has a clear objective covering different steps of a process or more than one process step in order to achieve its objectives. And thirdly, it is leveraging tools underneath and reasoning capabilities, meaning, again, can be a machine learning model, can be data sets, plus the reasoning or logic, however you want to call it, of the LLM or LLMs that are being leveraged as well.
That means maybe for differentiating or for getting a little bit more into the topic, a differentiation between agents and machine learning and the way how they work. Is there a differentiation?
I would argue that a machine learning model is can be one tool that an agent would call. And maybe the differentiation between an agent and just a Gen AI chatbot is relevant here or can help. A Gen AI chatbot is I'm employing an LLM, large language model, and some sort of data set or knowledge store, and I equip the LLM with that knowledge store, and I interact with that knowledge. That's a chatbot. No classical machine learning involved. But that's not what we mean by an agent. An agent would require additional tools, would require more than just interaction with the data set, but really driving actions across multiple processes or process steps, plus would probably leverage more than one LLM just to connect with one, to interact with one knowledge bank. A machine learning model, again, can be one of those underlying tools, and I'll get to an example in a second. Maybe that helps, which is just a prediction model trained on historical data. And the machine learning model itself can be a regression, can be a random forest, whatever it should be. But it's, again, basically just a prediction. Whereas the agent is broader and leverages many tools to accomplish a task across different process steps. One example could be a maintenance scheduler agent. So imagine I'm running a factory and I need to optimize the factory for output, for quality, but I also need to optimize it in terms of scheduling maintenance. So there are all these different goals I need to optimize for. And what I could imagine is deploying agents for those different tasks, an agent that optimizes the output, an agent that optimizes the maintenance scheduling, depending on equipment availability, depending on past maintenance and the success rates of these maintenance, etc. And this could be the success rate or the prediction of the maintenance could be done with a machine learning model. So you have one overall agent calling different agents, and within one of these agents, you have the machine learning model predicting the next maintenance for machinery X. So just to illustrate that the machine learning model is part of an agent, and that in turn, that agent is part of a bigger agent or an agent of agents. So again, the machine learning model is crucial to the output or to the output, yes. To the decision on where and how I do maintenance, but it's only one part of the entire fleet of agents, basically. But it's a crucial part.
Amazing. Yes. And now we see how these, let's say, areas communicate to each other are related to each other, because I think sometimes there are some misunderstandings about these whole topics and hypes, I would say, as well. And now it is, I hope, for many of you, clear how they differentiate and how they work together. I found your let's say, your sentence about orchestration, agents like orchestrating these different tasks, A task can be a tool, a task can be then a machine learning model, how we already learned. Now, I think after we have understood this and we know how this works, would be interesting to know as well about, yes, the risk, which could be related with, let's say, applying agents which are taking autonomous decisions even. What is your point about this?
I think there's huge potential risk attached if you don't govern your agent or agents correctly. I would even argue that agents magnify or multiply the risk. And there are several risks attached to it. It's a data quality risk. As I just said, that an agent would call up on different tools, and one type of tool can be structured, unstructured data, or vector stores, etc. And they are only as good as the data quality. So that's certainly a risk. Accessing the right data, training with the right data. Same with a machine learning model that an agent might call. Again, if that machine learning model is not trained with high quality data, then the machine learning model and the prediction is something that the agent cannot really rely upon. But there are also additional challenges that have to do with the LLMs that basically call some of these data sets, or that do some of the reasoning steps in between. We all know about hallucination of LLMs, so that's still a risk. We know about PII leakage, so sensitive data leakage, depending on how the LLM has been trained or not trained, if it's an open source LLM or not. So again, there are some choices you need to make, but also certainly governance guardrails that you need to put in place. And just the concept of an agent and agents of agents makes it more complex, right? So you have different layers. You have the underlying tools. These tools in turn need data, high quality data. These tools are being called by agents with LLMs. Again, if there's an agent of agents, you have another layer. So just the concept of agents makes it, and the different layers makes it more likely that you have potential risk or low quality outputs, etc. And you need to be able to trace that back in order to fix that. So I think agents just magnify or amplify the challenges that we have anyway. And maybe back to your one part of your questions is sort of agents taking autonomous decisions. Again, that depends heavily on how you construct agents. You can have sort of so-called headless agents that maybe work in the back and do lots of things autonomously without any human in the loop. You can also have headless agents that work in the back, where you decide, because it's so crucial to your process and so it has so much potential risk, that you put some humans in the loop, so that the agents, for instance, is not allowed to update certain finance records, for instance, unless a human has reviewed it. So imagine an agent that helps clarify, basically how much I can spend in order to invite clients for dinner. Check my recipe. Check my receipt, and that can be fully done with an agent, fully autonomously, meaning the agent, tells me my limits for dinner, checks my receipt, and then updates the finance records accordingly, and sends out or advises or triggers send out of money to me, basically. But you could argue that no, that might be too risky, or of a certain amount it's too risky. So I need to have a human in the loop for certain amounts to review whether this receipt and what I've spent the money on for inviting the clients or customers is actually correct. So that's an example of an agent that you can deploy. But again, you can, as an organization, decide whether you want to, at what stage you want to have a human in the loop. And that becomes probably even more relevant if you have front-end agents, meaning agents that interact directly without a human in the loop with outside stakeholders, your customers, your suppliers, etc. There's this very famous Air Canada example where I believe someone from an agent or an autonomous system, at least from Air Canada, granted a huge amount of money back to a client automatically, without having any human in the loop. I think that's about how the example went. But if you Google Air Canada agents, you'll find the example. Again, just an autonomous system that went rogue with any human in the loop. And that can go wrong, specifically if you have an agent engaging with, outside stakeholders.
Wow. Yes. Great overview. It is, yes, very important to mention this, not only mentioning, wow, this brings a lot of benefits. It is not about saying that agents will not bring benefits, but now where this area is growing so quickly, it is important to be aware as well about the risk, about the importance of having a human on the loop, and about data quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is something what remains. It doesn't matter which way you want to go, but somehow every company, organization is, let's say, obligated to have the data quality, let's say, in order or to having to guarantee this in order to apply other fancy or great things. Yes, as I said, I have learned a lot. Thank you so much, Maximilian.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for the great questions.
Yes, and dear audience, I hope you enjoyed it as well with us. And yes, stay tuned. I hope you keep on the loop and you stay curious about all these topics related to data and AI. Bye-bye.